To the queries for the day. I'll take it up with you, Ravi, first. With respect to the markets today, we've seen, we've been seeing that fall since the past 2 days. Today also, we've seen all sectors in red except for Nifty FMCG, which always acts as a defensive sector when markets are down. But overall, also, we saw the broader markets see more pain than the benchmarks. What do you make of this, and what can you expect further going forward?
Yeah, you rightly said that all over across the sector we have seen heavy selling due to there is a four important factor. One is the geopolitical tension. Second is MHVP virus, and third is a US policies. And fourth is a China policy. So these important factor, but yeah, you can say that there is a very strong support in Nifty at 23,450 to 23,650 levels. So we may see in next 1 or 2 days in this range. But yeah, overall trend is down, and investor may take a cautious to once any bounce back, you take exit.
Right. And Mahesh, what is your outlook?
Yeah. So my outlook is also a little cautious at this point in time. I feel the most important issue which market is still digesting is what would be the outlook after Trump comes in for the global economy. So still markets are not very clear about what kind of trade restrictions would Trump initiate when he comes into power on 20th of Jan. That is one. Second is markets still are not confident about the upcoming earnings season, and they believe that at least a quarter we are still away from seeing any meaningful upside in the earnings. So I think fourth quarter would be an ideal start to seeing some traction in earnings. So I think earnings and some policies of Trump related to the trade, especially surrounding China, I think these two things are keeping markets on the toes. And we are also seeing the dollar index strengthening to, I think, around 109 levels, and the bond yield also rising to 4.7. So I think all these are also prompting FIs to take out some money off the table. And I think still we are seeing a continuous FIs sell-off. And I think unless and until the dollar index and the US bond yield lowers, I think we are still some way away from at least FIs coming back to the Indian markets.
In fact, the FI's net sold today stood at around 7,171 crore. That's the number coming in, and DI has bought around 7,640 crore. That's the number today of FI selling and DI buying. But moving on to the first query of the day, Nihal from Mumbai has a query on Dabur. He's holding 1,000 shares bought at 508 a piece, and he wants to know as to what the medium-term outlook for the company is. He's sitting on a profit of around 13,000 odd rupees. Manish, Dabur came out with its Q2 update, and we saw that the management, the kind of commentary that came in was consolidated revenue is expected to register a low single-digit growth during Q3. They anticipate flattish operating margin growth, and international business, however, is going to record a double-digit growth in constant currency terms. And India business healthcare is expected to be flattish due to delayed winter outset. So Q3 for sure does not look very good for Dabur. I believe Q4 is also going to be on similar levels. But medium term, let's say by the first half of FY26, how do you expect Dabur to fare?
I think you are right on the business update part. I think the business update was not very inspiring. So I think the whole FMCG pack has seen a correction from their recent tops, and Dabur has also corrected from around 6,070 odd levels. So I feel at this point in time, I still feel that the earnings momentum is still at least 2 quarters away. There are 2-3 reasons to it. One is I think the urban demand is more of saturating. We are still not very hard into the rural recovery. And third, there are also some input side pressure for all these FMCG companies. So all these 3 factors are playing both on the volume front as well as on the margins front. So I feel 2 quarters, I think the numbers would be tepid. But yes, rural recovery is showing some signs of green shoot. And with the kind of welfare schemes of various state governments and central governments which have come in, I am of the opinion that you would slowly and steadily see the consumption picking up, at least in the rural space. And the rural inflation has also come down. So that would be another point which would add to the rural consumption. So, if someone is willing to hold Dabar from at least 1 year, I think Dabar is a good play, especially on the expected recovery in the rural economy.
So it's a hold coming in on Dabar from Manish. Moving on to the first caller of the day, Kalyan from Chennai is calling in. Kalyan, a very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hi, good evening.
Kalyan, can you be a little louder? I cannot hear you.
300 shares of
Okay, no, I think his voice is cracking and it's a bad line, but we have his query. Easy Trip Planners is the counter that he has. He's holding 1300 odd shares, bought at 17.95 a piece. The stock is currently trading at 15 rupees. It closed at 15 rupees today. And he wants a 6 months outlook on it. He wants to know whether to hold or sell. Ravi, I'll come to you on this one. You know, a lot of news with respect to this counter coming in, you know, with the co-founder selling his stake, you know, resigning from his position. The stock did see pressure in trade in the past few days. What do you make of it, first of all? And 6 months, how does Easy Trip fare on charts?
I think you are rightly said that all fundamentals are negative, and my point is that only exit. Why we wait 6 months? You just take exit because its overall trend is down. Charts are poor. Every indicator are indicating to selling zone. So better you take exit at current market price.
Right. We have another query from Zamir. He has written to us from Chennai. He says that he's holding 2,000 shares of SJVN at 94 rupees a piece. So can he hold for another 10 years? My bad, it's 20,000 shares at 94.12. So could he hold for another 10 years or should he buy more at this current level? So SJVN recently signed a MOU with Bihar government worth almost over 5,500 crore. And if we look at its 6-month picture, it has been down over 30%. And today also the stock was down almost 2%. So Manish, is it advisable to hold SJVN for another 10 years and should the investor be buying more at the current levels?
I think 10 years is a very long horizon to predict at this point in time. So I feel that SJVN, with the kind of correction it had from its top of around 170 odd, I think the stock on the valuation front still I feel looks expensive compared to its historical averages. I think it's more on a play of how the execution of hydroelectric power plants which the company has. I think the commissioning and the execution of all the power plants would take at least 5 to 6 years from here on, and it would come in parts. So I think you would not see any major earning surprises every quarter. But yes, if someone is patient enough to play that story which unfolds in the next 5 to 6 years, as and when the commissioning of power plants which it has in hand takes place, I think at these levels, I would be a little cautious. I would advise them to add it at lower levels, I feel.
Manish, just one interesting thing to point out, he bought at 94 and his and the current price, the price at which SJVN closed today is 100. Though the price uptick is not much, but his quantity is quite significant. He is already holding 20,000 shares, because of which he's seen gains of about 1.3 lakh rupees. You know, adding at lower levels, what could be lower than this? Because he bought at 94 already, the price is 100. Are there any levels that you're looking at?
I think ideally, I think he should at least book 50% and book some profit, and the capital he has, I think an ideal level to add would be around 65 to 70 odd kind of levels as and when it comes.
Thank you so much for that, Manish. Moving on to the next caller, Chetan from Karnataka is calling in. Chetan, a very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hi ma'am, good evening ma'am.
Good evening. Go ahead with your query.
KPIT Technology 200 stock,
Okay.
average price of 1374,
Okay.
6 month award ma'am, short term only. Today Tata Elxsi result,
Right.
EBITDA ಮತ್ತೆ net profit down ma'am, seller hold ma'am, Tata Elxsi ಮತ್ತೆ KPIT one segment ma'am.
Right, right. Okay, so what he's trying to say is basically that Tata Elxsi and KPIT Tech operate in the same segment, and Tata Elxsi, we saw that EBIT was down around 7.8%, margins were down to 23.5% versus that of 25%, net profit was down 13% for the company. So he's saying, what can you make, of this results, and how can you, relate that to KPIT Tech? Manish, I'll come to you. I think he's done his research well, though he wants a short-term outlook on this. But since he's talking about the fundamentals, 6 months and considering, Q3 results are pending, what do you make of KPIT Tech?
I think Tata Elxsi has come out with, I think, a weaker set of results, if I can call it. I think the pain in the IT overall sector is still visible. TCS also came out with the results, and I think it was not very positive. Still, I would be waiting for the commentary which comes out at the conference call. So it would be too early, but the numbers show that the green shoots of recovery is still not visible in the IT space with the kind of numbers which have come out. So at this point in time, my view is that it is better to avoid IT and KPIT Tech. I would be of the view that the gentleman is having some profit. I think he should book that profit, and I think he should at least wait for a quarter or so to at least get a feel if there is an upturn in the kind of IT spending which is going to happen in the US. So I think it's better a sell at this point in time.
All right, so that's a sell on KPIT Tech by Manish. Now we are getting a caller from Hyderabad. Hi, Ajay.
Madam, good evening, madam.
Good evening. How can we help you?
So, madam, I want to buy 2,000 shares of GMR Airports.
You have bought 2,000 shares of GMR Airports?
He wants to
No, I am willing to buy.
You're
madam.
willing to buy, all right.
Yeah. Few months back, GQG partners also invested in this at 95 or 85 levels.
Right. So you want to hold for a long term or a short term?
Long term only, more than 2-3 years, madam. What will be the future of that one?
All right.
And also government planning to enlarge airports. No, you know.
Yeah. So I'd like to I'd like to go across to Manish on this one because he's asking for a long-term view. So how are GMR Airports' performance looking to you, and what's the future for it?
I think if I talk about GMR Airports, I think still the company hasn't achieved profitability. So I think that's still some time away, and with the kind of debt it is accumulating each year, I feel that it is better to avoid GMR Airport at this point in time. At least I would wait for some clarity on the profitability front. And I think there are better plays in the air space, and my top pick to play directly on the kind of this air, the whole air, the airline space would be, I think Indigo is one stock, I think, which I'm bullish on. I feel the kind of occupancy and the kind of the fares which are doing, I think Interglobe, I think, is a better play from a 1 year perspective.
Right. That's the view from Manish, but it's interesting. Jeffries came out with a note today on the tourism space, and they have a very strong buy on GMR Airports with a price target of 110 of 42% upside. What they're saying is that GMR infrastructure stands out in the airport segment, leveraging its monopolistic business model and benefiting from India's underpenetrated aviation market. They've also said that they expect GMR to deliver a 30% EBITDA CAGR between FY24 to 27. So it's a contrary view, but an interesting one. Moving on to the next caller, Amit from Hyderabad is calling in. Amit, a very good evening to you. How can we help you?
Yeah, hello ma'am, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Ma'am, my query is about IIFL Capital. I
Okay.
wanted to know how fundamental, strong company it is, and can I hold it for long term? I have about 200 shares, average price over 54 or 60 between that.
All right, and I'm seeing that, right, okay, and I'm seeing that you have good profits already, which are unrealized ones, but you're sitting on almost 50K profits as we speak. You want a fundamental view on this. Just before I move on to the guest, I just wanted to know, Amit, any specific reason behind buying IIFL Capital Services? Have you studied the company?
I studied a little bit. I'm very bullish on few of the sectors, like the financial services sectors, all the defense sectors. So I have a lot of stocks compared to like HAL, Mazgaon Dock, and then the financial sectors. I have stock of BSC, and then IIFL Capital, and then the steel sector, of course, like Giant Tech Vedanta. So I have few sectors in my mind, and this is one of my preferred sectors.
All right, Amit, I think you've done your research well. Manish, I'll come to you again. Ravi, sorry for keeping you wait. We have a lot of fundamental queries that are coming in. But Manish, your view on IIFL Capital Services?
I think IIFL Capital and all the broking companies are going to a green patch, if I can call it. I think the kind of F&O volumes which have been generated, I think all these companies are benefiting big time from this. And despite some SEBI restrictions which have come into play in the last few months, I feel the long-term trajectory for the Indian financialization, if I can call it, is still the total addressable market for me is still very huge. And I feel with the kind of numbers and with the kind of return ratios which IIFL Capital has delivered in the past, I think that trajectory is still intact. And from a long-term perspective, I am definitely, it's a hold for me.
All right, so it's a hold for IIFL Securities. Ravi, I'll quickly come to you also on this one. How does this counter look to you on charts?
Yeah, definitely is looking positive, and we may achieve the level of 350 very soon, because the overall structure is positive, and the moving averages are supported. MACD is in positive hand. RSI is also in a positive hand. So on daily chart, definitely it a positive and target of 350 rupees.
Okay, so now we are getting a caller from Delhi. Hi, Mr. Malhotra.
Hello.
Hello, how can we help you, sir?
I want to invest 30,000 for 1 year.
Okay.
Please tell me which stock I can buy.
All right. We're also getting one more caller from Mumbai. Let's take that as well. Hi, Sukesh. How can we help you?
Hi, I have two questions to ask quickly.
I'm afraid we can only answer one question. So, yes, please go ahead with that.
Okay, good. Which sectors can we look for next 6 months or 1 year?
All right. So, almost it's the same question by Mr. Malhotra and Sukesh. So, first, I'd like to come to you, Ravi, because we've been keeping you waiting for quite some time now. So, Ravi, what do you suggest, like which sectors to buy? Like the investors want a short-term and a long-term view on to invest in the stock market. So what do you prefer?
Yeah, if you talk about a sector, so two sectors are looking very attractive these days. Number one is a pharma, and second is a FMCG counter. You may enter at any point of time. You may get the return around 18 to 22% in year end. So that sector is looking attractive. And if you have a long-term goal, then definitely these sectors will perform aggressively. And if you talk about a particular stocks, then I have a list of stocks, but I can suggest only two stocks. Number one is IGL. Its current market price is 415. So we may see the target of 550 with the stop loss of 380 rupees. So this is the one stock, and second stock is Bank of Baroda in banking counter. That stock is looking attractive at 230 to 225 level for the target of 285 with the stop loss of 220. So risk reward is better. So long term stocks you can buy.
Right. And Manish, what do you suggest?
I think I am bullish on the larger banking space. From a 1 year perspective, I feel the valuations of the large cap banks are available at a at a valuation which we have not seen in the past few years. So amongst that, I feel SBI and ICICI Bank would be my top picks from a 1 year perspective. Another uh, Another stock which comes to my mind at these current levels is Reliance. I feel Reliance from a 1 year perspective is a very good bet from a risk reward perspective. I feel there are multiple triggers to Reliance. I think the O2C business from here on should perform well, which has been a laggard in the past. I feel the tariff hikes which happened in July, that should flow through into the numbers. The retail business also should pick up from here on. And also, there are market speculation that the Jio IPO might come in 2025. So if that happens, I think value unlocking in Reliance Industries would happen. And at this point, it's a great risk-reward opportunity from a 1 year perspective.
All right, so SBI, ICICI Bank and Reliance are the three counters that Manish is bullish on. Moving on to the next caller, Anuj from Ranchi is calling in. Anuj, very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Regarding my query, regarding the query that I have for SRF.
Okay.
So I have 51 shares of SRF bought at the average of 2,453.
Okay.
So I just wanted to understand, what's the outlook of the company, and is it worth, keeping the shares for long term? Because that's what my vision or plan is, to keep it for long. So
right.
Just wanted to understand the outlook.
Right. Anuj, any specific reason as to why you've bought SRF? Have you studied the company?
Yeah, couple of reasons. One is, of course, the specialty, chemicals, and it has a global, presence as well. And it's, diversified into, different business segments like technical, fluorochemicals, specialty chemicals, and packaging films and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the, that's the
Got it.
reason, basically.
Got your question, Anuj. Manish, I'll come to you on this one. There was a very interesting JM Financial note today about SRF. They've said that iGas ref gas distribution in US announced hikes for the ref gas price, and SRF could benefit significantly from this hike, and they've maintained buy with a target price of 2,660 on the counter. Do you also reckon with this kind of price target given by JM Financial, or do you have a different view?
No, I think SRF, after the refrigerant price hike in the US, I think that should flow through the earnings in the next 1 or 2 quarters. I think the whole specialty chemical space, I think for me, it has bottomed out. The global destocking is close to an end, and most of the chemical prices are showing some trend of bottoming out. So from here on, if the volumes pick up a little, I think the prices would support, and the specialty chemical companies like SRF, I think, would be in a beneficial position. Also, these segments which it operates in, the BOPT segment, the technical textile, I think all these are now nearer to an upturn in their cycle. So from here on, I think from the next 1 or 2 quarters, we would also see some traction in earnings. So I think from a 1 year or 2 year perspective, I think from these levels, we should see an upside. So it's a hold for me.
On SRF, now we're getting one more caller from Bengaluru. Hi, Komal.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. How can we help you?
Madam, Kalyan Jewelers 200 stock, average price 670.
Right.
3 month old, ma'am. 2 days back, Kalyan Jewelers business update, ma'am, 39 upside, ma'am. Consolidation 1 week down perform, ma'am.
Yes. Because I can see that you're incurring a loss of almost 1,500 rupees there. But let's get you a short-term view on it. Ravi, Kalyan Jewellers came up with its business update recently. So the consolidated revenue growth was reported almost 39%. And it also plans to launch 75 showrooms in non-South India, across South India, international markets. So how is Kalyan Jewellers looking on the charts for short term?
Yeah, it's definitely is a downward channel. Stock is continuously tagging to lower band, Bollinger Band on daily chart. So better to take an exit, and if you are interested to buy again, then wait for the target of 580 levels. Once it reach 580 level, then you ask profit again. In the same question, maybe we enter, but current market price, you should take exit.
Just one quick question, Ravi. Kalyan Jewellers was one of the stocks that saw a lot of momentum in the past, 8 months, 8 months to 1 year. Do you think that now correction is on cards for Kalyan Jewellers?
See, ma'am, trend is your friend. Now trend is down, so accept the trend and wait for the new target.
Well, with that, it's time to slip into a short break. Keep sending in your queries on WhatsApp and call in, and we'll be right back on Ask Profit. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
The world of capital markets and trading post Zerodha is probably never going to be the same. Was the idea to change things down because you loved trading?
I think the best case outcome was 100,000 customers forever.
In early 2024, you had a stroke. Was that your biggest challenge that you've ever faced?
The first months I couldn't move, and move as in I could move but slowly and etc. But I couldn't talk at all.
What next for Zerodha?
I think last year was probably the peak of the broking industry.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first trade to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target. It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, a show where we get your stock-related queries answered. You can either ask your stock-related queries on WhatsApp or call us on the number that is flashing on your screen. Moving on to the next query, we have Krishna from Tamil Nadu. I believe her query is on ONGC. Okay, we have the caller ready. Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening. What's your query on? I believe it's on ONGC.
I'm holding 60 shares of ONGC at the rate 260.
Okay.
For the short term, I want to know about the ONGC.
So when you entered ONGC, I believe it's not very far away from its buy price that you've had right now, because today the stock closed around at 263.
Yeah, I bought it 4 days ago.
Okay. And when you say short term, what's the kind of time horizon? 3 months, 6 months?
3 months, 6 months, ma'am.
3 months or 6 months?
Uh,
All right.
6 months.
All right. Okay. 6 months is the time horizon that you have. Ravi, I'll come to you on this one. ONGC, how does it fare on charts?
Yeah, ma'am, very strong support at 250 levels. The stock prices are looking strong on daily, on weekly chart. Also, the technical parameter like RSI, MACD, and long-term moving averages are in supporting to buy trend. So you just continue. Yeah, target is 3 month is 280 rupees. For 6 month, you can achieve the target of 300 or 310 levels. So just hold and wait for some time for the good profit.
That's a hold on ONGC. Now we're getting a caller from Hyderabad. Hi, M. Krishna. How can we help you?
I am holding Tejas Network 1200 shares at the rate of average price 1240.
Right.
I am a long-term investor.
Okay.
And what is the fundamental conditions and technical condition of the company?
Yeah, because I can see that Krishna, that you're sitting on a loss of almost 2 lakh. So,
right.
Yeah, so, okay, I'll get you a view, long-term view on it. Manish, how are the fundamentals of Tejas Network looking like? Because as I can see, the past 6-month picture, it has been down over 20%. Now, currently, it's also trading at 1,102, which is significantly down, at which M. Krishna had bought. So, what is your outlook on it?
I think at the current price, my sense is that most of the positives which are there in Tejas Networks, the tailwinds in the telecoms sector, I think at this price, I think most of the positives are captured. And I think from the earnings perspective, I see the earnings steadily growing also. But my sense is that earnings growth and the kind of valuation which Tejas is trading at this point in time, I think most of the positives are captured, and I do not see a major upside in terms of the price trajectory unless and until some very huge earnings upside comes in, which I'm not very confident of. I think it's better to exit Tejas and move on to something direct play in telecom space. And I believe Bharti Airtel is one company I feel still there is a lot of potential in it. I think the ARPU from here on also would improve. The African business is still showing traction, and I feel in the next few quarters you will see much more improvement in the African operations as well. So I think it's a better strategy to move out from Tejas and move into Bharti Airtel.
Right. But Manish, just quickly, because he's sitting on a loss of 1.6 lakhs, over 1.6 lakhs. Do you think that he should still exit or wait to, to see if the stock recovers a bit?
I think the kind of markets we are in currently and the kind of the sentiment towards small and mid cap space is there. I think I'm not very confident that an upside from these levels is there in the near term as well. So I think it's better to exit and move into something where the earnings visibility is much more there. Yeah.
Understood. Got your point. Moving on to the next caller, Ramesh from Delhi is calling in. Ramesh, a very good evening to you. How can we help you?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm holding 1,500 shares of Gujarat Gas.
Okay.
At 375.
Okay.
Now my perspective is long term.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to know the views, whether I should partly sell the shares or should I hold for some more time, wait for to get more gain.
All right. And Ramesh, what was the idea behind buying Gujarat Gas?
I studied the fundamentals. They were very strong, and the company was going great guns at that time. So I bought the shares at that time.
Understood. Understood. Manish, again, I'll have to come to you on this one. One more fundamental query for you. He's sitting on a profit of around 1.9 lakh rupees. Do you think he should partially book some profit and move on, or what should be the strategy?
I think definitely he should book a part profit in Gujarat Gas. The kind of entry point which he had, I think it was very superb. So I think at this point in time he should book part profit. I'm not saying that from here on the trajectory of the business is on a downtrend. I'm still confident on the business of Gujarat Gas, but I feel the kind of profit he's in, I think he should book some profit and move that profit to something like ONGC, which has corrected from the top. And from here on, in the next 3 to 4 quarters, I believe the kind of KG commissioning, which is scheduled to happen in the fourth quarter of FY25, I think the crude oil output and the gas output from here on would further improve. And also the average price realization for crude has improved in the last few weeks. So I feel the earnings visibility from ONGC at this point in time, I think, is better. So I think some profit booking in Gujarat Gas and moving it into ONGC.
All right, so that's a buy call on ONGC there. Now we're getting a caller from Telangana. Hi Anand, how can we help you?
Good evening, madam.
Good evening. Thanks for speaking to NDTV Profit. Please go ahead with your query.
I bought 200 shares of DLF in the month of November 2024 at the rate of 760, madam.
Yes.
After it has touched around 900 rupees, I have not sold. Now it is around 780, madam.
Right.
780. Can I hold or add or sell, madam?
So are you looking for a short-term view or a long-term view?
1 year origin, madam. Oberoi Realty DLF doing same. In that time, Oberoi DLF in same momentum, madam. Now Oberoi is bullish and it is somewhat bearish, madam.
Yes. So, but on DLF, I'd like to take both the technical and the fundamental view. So first up, I'd like to come to you, Ravi. How is DLF looking on the charts? Because I can see that it was down almost 3% today. So what's your take on it?
In my point of view, ma'am, Meenakshi ma'am, better to book the profit because the stock still is in downtrend, and the next target would be that 720 to 680 levels. So I don't think so. You should wait for the lower side. But yeah, continuous is profit booking. But once it achieve the target of 720 or 680 levels, maybe that point is attractive. But yeah, currently is clear cut sell.
And Manish, because Anand was asking for a view between Oberoi or DLF, so what's your take on it?
I think I am more comfortable with DLF. I think because I think the kind of the launches happened in the last 2 quarters. I think those pre-sales numbers were excellent, and I think that would flow through in the next few years, not in few quarters. I think the investor should be of the mindset that all these project launches which happens, they do not immediately flow into the numbers. It takes some time. And I think DLF is also planning to enter into other regions of India. So presently, most of its projects are into the NCR region. I think going forward, you would see the projects coming in other parts of India. And it has a very strong pipeline of projects for the next 2 quarters as well. Another economic tailwind, I think, which would benefit all the real estate players going forward is in this calendar year 2025, we do expect the RBI to cut the repo rate. So as and when it comes, I think all these real estate players would have an additional tailwind. So I think DLF would also benefit from that. And I think from a 1 year perspective, at this price, I think it's a hold for me.
Hold coming in on DLF from Manish. Moving on from Manish to Manish. Manish from Delhi is calling in. Manish, a very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes. Go ahead with your query.
Ma'am, yeah, I have Bajaj Housing Finance Limited, one lot, around 214 shares.
Okay.
And should I hold or sell?
Okay.
Is IPO allotment?
Manish, I think you were one of those lucky people to get allotment on Bajaj Housing Finance.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know when you got the allotment or when you applied for the IPO, what was the kind of thinking behind applying for the IPO?
It's a long term.
Long term view. So you want a fundamental view on this? Do you want a fundamental view on this or not, Manish? Or do you want to see how charts are faring for Bajaj Housing Finance? I think we've lost his feed, but I think let's take both of these views. Ravi, I'll come to you first. Bajaj Housing Finance is sitting on a profit of roughly 10,000 odd rupees. How does it fare on charts?
Better, ma'am, take a profit because overall NBFC sector is in downtrend and this stock is also in a downward channel. Every time it's made a new low. Now is trading at a 120 level and you may see the 100 levels very soon. So I think better to take a exit and book the profit.
Manish, your view on Bajaj Housing Finance?
I think I'm in sync with Ravi. I think the kind of valuation it is trading at, I think the price to book multiple of more than 5 times, I think it's on the higher side. And I feel that the competition in the housing space is heating up, and with the kind of entry from other players also planned in the housing space, I feel these valuations should moderate. So I think it's a sell for me as well.
Okay, so our experts are suggesting a sell on Bajaj Housing. Now we're getting a caller from Bengaluru. Hi, Ranganayak. Ranganayak, am I audible? I think we've lost. We have his query. He's bought 400 shares of Motilal Oswal at 970 a piece. He's looking for a long-term view on it. And as I can see that he is sitting on a loss of 27,000. So Manish, how is Motilal Oswal's performance according to you in the near future?
The earnings trajectory sequentially has been on the upturn. If you see the last few quarters, the earnings trajectory has been upturn thanks to the performance of the stock market post COVID. I think the kind of volumes being made in the equity markets, I think all the broking companies are benefiting big time from that, and I do not foresee any slowdown in the kind of volumes which these broking companies would generate. So I think the earnings trajectory due to this the financialization of savings towards equity which is happening, I think this trend is a larger term trend, and I think Motilal Oswal I think is a hold for me if someone is willing to play it from a 1 to 2 year perspective.
All right, so it's a hold coming in on Motilal Oswal from Manish. Moving on to the next caller, Bhupen from Mumbai is calling in. Bhupen, a very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. I believe your query is on Swiggy.
Swiggy, yes.
Yes. What do you want to know on Swiggy?
No, I bought 100 shares of Swiggy today at 511 rupees.
Today, okay.
And I am a long-term investor. I want to keep it for 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
It's difficult to value these shorts because company is still not making any profit. So, and there will not be enough technical data also. So I want to know what is the future for next 1 or 2 years. Because Zomato has come down significantly. It has dropped by more than 20%. So I just want to know what is the future of Swiggy.
Any particular reason why you bought Swiggy today, Bhupen?
Because I see everybody ordering from Swiggy. It seems to be spread all over the country, every household has some Swiggy account.
All right.
So I feel this is a big reach for the Swiggy. But what is the stock market outlook? That is what I want to know.
All right, and that's a very interesting way to analyze a stock, Bhupen. I really appreciate that. Manish, once again, a fundamental view on Swiggy. Bernstein has a high target of 635 on the counter. CLSA also has a target of above 700. I don't remember the exact figure. And, you know, a lot of these brokerages are bullish on the counter. But what do you make of Swiggy?
I think Swiggy, my sense is that it is at least 5 to 6 quarters away from posting profit. I think the kind of capital which is going into the quick commerce business, the Instamart business, I think it's too high, and I think that would take some time to recover, and that to reflect on the profitability is still away. I think the company has a very ambitious plan of adding dark stores as it moves forward. I think if that happens, I think the profitability trajectory would go further away. The food delivery business, if I want to compare Swiggy and Zomato, I think there is not much to differentiate. The only advantage which Zomato currently has over Swiggy is the profitability, number one, and in the quick commerce, the quick delivery business, I think Blinkit has shown a better performance as compared to Instamart, and also Zomato has other multiple segmental revenues which are coming through. One is Hyperpure, and another is the recently acquired Paytm's ticketing business. So I think the drivers for Zomato looks more better currently as compared to Swiggy, but I think the valuation for Zomato is too stretched because the kind of run up it has from 100 to 300 now it has corrected. So I think both these food tech platforms, my perspective is better to avoid at this point in time and wait for more clarity on the profitability for Swiggy and some valuation moderation for Zomato.
All right. Now, we're getting a caller from Mysore. Hi, Shankar. How can we help you?
Hi, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your query.
Ma'am, Varri Reliable Technology.
Right.
78 stock world. Average price 1268, ma'am.
Yes.
3 month world, ma'am. Seller world, ma'am. 1 month in the consolidation, ma'am.
So, when did you buy Varri Renewable?
Varri Reliable Technology world.
Yeah. So, when did you buy?
78 stock, average price 1268.
All right. So I'll get you a short-term view on it. Ravi, as I can... 1 month.
1 month consolidation, ma'am.
Yes. So Ravi, I'd come straight to you. Today also the stock was down almost 3%. So how is it looking on the charts?
Yeah, it's clearly there is some profit booking more, but I think you should wait for some time because very strong support at 1220 to 1200 range. So better you should wait at current market price and for the target of 1350 to 1380 levels. So short term view, you may see some correction, but be confident and wait for the upside levels.
Right. Wait for the upside levels is the view coming in on Varri Renewables, but it's been on downtrend since quite some time now. Moving on to the next caller, Srinath from Hyderabad is calling in. Srinath, a very good evening to you. How can we help you?
Yeah, good evening. So I have 3,500 shares of Apollo Tyres.
Okay.
So I just bought it today.
Okay.
So I just wanted it's been it's falling since last 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I just wanted to know the technical view, whether I bought it at the right price or there's a more fall coming down.
Okay. Srinath, do you study charts? Is there anything that you saw on Apollo Tyres charts that made you buy the stock?
Yeah. I thought it's coming. It's at the support.
Okay.
One of the support. So that's the reason I've taken it today.
Okay, understood. Ravi, what is your view with respect to Apollo tires on the charts?
Yeah, Srinath, you have do very clear exercise. There is a very strong support at 460 and 450 levels, but I can suggest one strategy. You have bought 3,500 share, right? So do one thing. You just next time, whenever you buy a single stock, you just add the friend of JK Tire. That stock is also in a strong consolidation and uptrend. So better you should wait for this point of time and for the target of 550 levels, and JK Tire is also the target of 440 levels. So better if you want to do the jobbing, or you want to buy another stock, and add on JK Tire also.
Right, so that's the view coming in on Apollo tires, and if you want to add on to more, JK Tire is the counter that you can add to your portfolio from a short-term perspective. Moving on to the next caller, Prateek from Kolkata is calling in. Prateek, very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Good evening all. So my question is, I'm holding Aptus Value Housing around 150 shares at the price of 260.
Okay.
I want to do stock SIP every month. So and maybe for next 5-6 years.
Okay.
So is this a good idea to do? I just wanted to take the view of the panelists.
Understood. You want to do stock SIP in Aptus Value Housing itself?
Yes.
Okay. Manish, I'll come to you on this one. Two things. First of all, is stock SIP a good idea? Yesterday, we had a similar question and we asked our guest, and he said that, that's not the right strategy to adopt for a particular stock. Do you also, affirm this view? And secondly, your view on Aptus Value Housing?
I think stock SIP from a longer term perspective, it's definitely a no. If looking at the current market situation, if someone is doing the stock SIP for 3 to 6 months, I think that would be a better strategy. Now, coming to Aptus Value, I think this company is one of the good companies in terms of management, in terms of the affordable housing space. I think the kind of earnings which it has shown in the recent past, I think that trajectory should continue. And with the upcoming budget, I think we would also see a more focus on the affordable housing segment from the government as well. I think which would further add tailwinds to this company.
Right.
So from a long-term perspective, I feel that Aptus Value is a hold for me.
Right. Okay. So that's a hold view coming in. Now we are getting a caller from Bengaluru. Hi, Mr. Hegre. How can we help you? I believe you have a query on Walk Hard.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Hegre, please go ahead with the query.
I got NTPC.
NTPC?
Hello.
Yes.
NTPC 5,000 shares at 415.
Okay.
All right.
I bought. What shall I do?
Okay, so you're looking for a long-term view on it?
Long-term view.
Okay, so Manish, I'd come straight to you. How are the fundamentals of NTPC looking like?
NTPC is one of the largest power generation company in India, and mainly into thermal power plants. I think in the next 2 years, you would see a lot of commissioning happening from NTPC. I think with the kind of power demand which has grown in the country in the last few years, I think the supply has consistently matched it. And I think with the kind of power demand which is anticipated in future also, I think NTPC is in a better position to leverage that, and the kind of commissioning it is expected to happen in the next 2 years. I think it's a hold for me at current levels.
Hold for NTPC from Manish. But with that, I'm afraid that we're completely out of time on this edition of Fast Profit. Manish, Ravi, thank you so much for taking us through those queries for the past 1 hour. And thank you so much for speaking to us at NDTV Profit. And like I said, we're completely out of time on this edition of Fast Profit. But stay tuned to NDTV Profit for more news and updates on the other side.
of capital markets and trading post Zerodha is probably never going to be the same. Was the idea to change things down because you loved trading?
I think the best case outcome was 100,000 customers forever.
In early 2024, you had a stroke. Was that your biggest challenge that you've ever faced?
The first months I couldn't move, and move as in I could move but slowly and etc. But I couldn't talk at all.
What next for Zerodha?
I think last year was probably the peak of the broking industry.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first trade to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target. It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
The world of capital markets and trading post Zerodha is probably never going to be the same. Was the idea to change things down because you loved trading?
I think the best case outcome was 100,000 customers forever.
In early 2024, you had a stroke. Was that your biggest challenge that you've ever faced?
The first months I couldn't move, and move as in I could move but slowly and etc. But I couldn't talk at all.
What next for Zerodha?
I think last year was probably the peak of the broking industry.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first trade to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta.
Nifty Sensex continue losing streak for second day as third quarter earnings season kicks off. All sectors except FMCG end in the red. Realty bleeds nearly 3%. IT giant TCS announces third quarter earnings. The consolidated net profit rises 4% but misses estimates on all fronts quarter on quarter. Margins expand by 40 basis points sequentially. Strong demand seen for thematic mutual funds in December and net assets under management dipped for the first time since March 2024. Kingfisher and Heineken will no longer be available in Telangana as UBL stops supply but appeals again. State Excise Minister Jupalli Krishna Rao says a price hike is not possible as it would burden consumers. Food delivery in 15 minutes does not mean food safety is violated, says Swiggy's Rohit Kapoor. L&T chairman draws criticism on 90-hour work week statement during employee interaction, dismisses the idea of employees spending weekends at home. Andhra Pradesh CM Chandrababu Naidu announces transfers and suspensions following the stampede incident at Tirumala, where devotees lost their lives and several others were left injured. Kolkata police arrests the digital arrest accused who allegedly duped people to the tune of 180 crore rupees. Several electronic gadgets have been seized from his possession. Total 11 persons have been arrested in the case so far. Raging wildfires around Los Angeles have spread to the Hollywood Hills. Other fires in the area have claimed at least 5 lives and destroyed hundreds of homes. Hello and welcome. Good evening. This is Profit 360 on NDTV Profit and I'm your host Malika Mishra. Along the next half an hour, we'll bring you the latest on markets as well as national and international news. To begin with, the Nifty and the Sensex ended lower ahead of the third quarter earnings season. The Nifty closed below the 23,550 mark with the metal and PSU bank sectors dragging the markets, while FMCG stocks shined. My colleague Harsh is joining us with further details on this.
Well, more red than green this week for sure. We've closed in the red, 0.7% lower on the Nifty. In fact, when you look at the intraday chart, we've just about closed just off the lows of the day where the Nifty 50 index is concerned. But you look at the Nifty mid-cap and small-cap, they've underperformed just by a wee bit on the index, but they've closed at the day's lows. So it's been, they spent some time in the green, but they've closed right at the bottom and they've clearly underperformed the index, and that's where a slight bit of worry may start to creep in. Let's look at the advanced decline if we can, and the advanced decline will reflect that the day consistently got worse in terms of the breadth of the market, and that's how it played out as you can see on your screen. Now in terms of where we are on the Nifty 50 heat map, let's look at that. Some names which did well, I want to point out to 2 auto stocks. Bajaj Auto and M&M did particularly well on a tough day of trade. Bajaj Auto on the back of a double upgrade by CLSA, and some auto stocks were therefore buzzing on the back of that. But you look at the predominant names on that chart sitting in the green: Nestle, HUL, Britannia, Asian Paints, Tata Consumer, ITC, Titan. Pretty much all FMCG names. Half of the gainers were FMCG, and therefore FMCG had a particularly good day. What didn't do well, ONGC was one of them, and it's had a couple of very good days in terms of its run. L&T was one of it, and you saw TCS ahead of numbers under pressure, 1.6% almost lower. The heavyweights were also sitting in the red, and HDFC Bank was down 1.5%. So that was what really dragged the index. Some of the lighter weights were sitting on top, and that's how it played out. Let's look at the sectors, and likely a very similar kind of a picture where sectors is concerned. The Nifty FMCG was the top gainer. Realty among the broader market indices was the top loser. IT was down 1.2%. It's been a mixed week for IT as well. PSU banks was down 1.3%. So some of the banking pressure coming from there, while private banks seem to have outperformed otherwise outside of HDFC. That's how it's working. Let's look at the BSE 500 top gainers, top losers while we're at it. And those are some names. Chemical names were in focus after an Aquarius note suggested positive on SRF, Navin Fluorine, Balaji and alkylamines on the refrigerants business side of things. ITI was sitting in the red, 9% lower. You had some pressure on Kalyan Jewellers for a second consecutive day despite a strong update. So keep your eye out on some of those names as well, some big moves.
So a good day for FMCG it was. Let's also get you the fund flow picture this evening. While domestic investors continue their buying spree and buy equities worth 7,639 crore rupees, foreign investors offload shares for the 5th straight session and sell Indian equities worth 7,170 crore rupees. Now, viewers, with the rise of quick commerce and the 10-minute delivery app strategy, local restaurants are raising concerns. My colleague Sessa has sent in a detailed report.
In what could be another battle between restaurants and food aggregators, the National Restaurants Association of India may approach the Competition Commission of India to